Hi, this is Ron Janish. We're going to take a look at what's in the expanded course in terms of my personal research. There's several things that are a result of my personal research. We're just going to take a look at one or two of them and see what good they are, okay, and how I use them and stuff like that. Okay, well, one of the signals that I like is the double trouble in a correction, and the other signal that I find very interesting is the Babson reversal lines, and we'll cover both of those. And double trouble, I like it in a correction. So in other words, we have the double trouble pattern here, and notice how this whole move here is inside right there. So we'll call this a probable correction, and we're going to take a look at in a moment what typically results when you get a double trouble signal. Okay. Recently, we had a slew of them. Had like 5 or 6 in the last month or something like that. And I like them because, for me, I find a double trouble signal at the end of a correction is very useful in finding a significant move that that gets me in with pretty low risk. The important part here is risk management, and they're not all perfect winners, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so let's take a look at double trouble signal. Okay, well, before we get to the double trouble, let's talk about the Babson reversal line, because one of the things that you really want to use in conjunction with this is the Babson reversal line. And there's something called the Babson reaction lines. Now, they are very different from Babson reversal lines. I can tell you that a typical Babson reaction line will probably never be a reversal line. Okay, so here, for example, we have a Babson reversal line, and we see that this is a 30-minute chart in the ES, and we can see that prices just kind of keep bouncing off of it, and that's what happens when you have a Babson reversal line. So that's not unusual. But that's, if you're into this 30-minute real tight stuff, this can be rather interesting. So there's that. Let's take a little further. Now here's another Babson reversal line. This is in gold. This was, back in, when was this? GCM7, so that would be back in, I guess back in March or so. Or March or April of 2017, prices came up to the Babson reversal line and reversed. Now, what we'd like to do is we draw our median lines, and when we have a double trouble pattern, we draw our median lines, which, as you can see here, is drawn, and say, oh, gee, prices are within the pitchfork, and then they go up to here, and lo and behold, prices went up to the Babson reversal line and reversed. Okay. See another example of this. This is in ultra bond futures. This was a fun one. And here we are in 2017, and interest rates are obviously going up. But in the meantime, every once in a while, bonds go the other way, and this is not what I would consider a correction. Okay, so here it goes down to the median line area, and when we have a double trouble pattern in here, it goes to, oops, let's get rid of this. And price goes up, nice strong move, and this is about $6,000–7,000. Okay, and so you have this nice strong move with the Babson reversal line. Okay, so and in the expanded course, we have a video which goes into detail on drawing those. Remember, I like to draw those after I have my median line drawn and I have my double trouble signal. Now, the Babson reversal line is used all kinds of places. I personally really like using it in conjunction with the double trouble signal. And so down here, you had a double trouble signal. Now this was at new lows. This was not a correction. And you still had a double trouble signal is either typically ridiculously strong or very long. Okay, so here you had a ridiculously strong move, just really nice, and then down she came, and then in the next contract, ironically, which this is the December contract, and I noted in the January contract, you once again had a double trouble signal when prices made new lows, which was kind of interesting. And let's take a look. Let's see what we have. What do we get to next? Japanese yen. Japanese yen. So here, once again, this is not a correction, right? So when you do not have a correction, it just kind of goes for a while. And but it is a double trouble signal, and so you have a lot of confusion as it goes up here and then eventually goes down. Now when it goes up here, it may give you a double trouble signal, which is then one to reverse. So, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, and these are recent charts, and remember, I'm in November here. These charts were, say, 11/16 is when I made those charts. Now this here is this is way back when, 2007, the S&P, and so we see here prices went up to the ML. There's probably a double trouble signal in this area here, and down she went rather quickly, and then prices went up to the ML here, and you probably had a double trouble signal. And well, hold on. What happened? Huh. Okay. That was weird. So let's find this here. There we go. This is where we were. No, we went past this. What am I saying? Oh, that's the wrong one. This is the wrong one. Whoa, the double trouble signal. Yeah, that's where we were, right here. So you had, so now what I tried to say with this here is typically when you have a double trouble signal at the end of a thrust wave, you typically go for a correction. Okay, unfortunately, it does not find the end of the move in most cases, the ultimate end of the move. Too bad. Now, sometimes when you have a double trouble signal, you just kind of draw your median line, and prices make it nowhere near the median line. They never make it to the median line. If they don't, chances are, even if it, kind of reverses near the Babson reversal line, which is here, be a little, I just don't mess with those. I don't like to mess with those. Okay. Let's move on. Let's see, what do we have next? Here's the ES, and this was the ES about a week or so ago. Okay. And as you can see, prices are headed up to the far parallel here, and so we may have a Babson reversal line up here somewhere. I'll have to wait and see. I know we had one before we got to the line, which wasn't too crazy about, but we have one. I was told we have one up here at what's called the area of warning line number 1, and we'll look at that in a second. So here's the same chart, only this is on 1 hour basis. And so let's say somebody decided to go short up here. Well, yeah, that's okay, but the thing is that if prices break through and kind of go up like crazy, you've got some good risk management capability in there. So you don't have to, wait until your account is drained to nothing before you do something. Now here's the gold, right? And so here we published the thing saying, hey, look, we had a double trouble signal in here. We drew our ML, and sure enough, prices went up to the median line and reversed. We wound up going short, and let's quickly go over to there. Boom. So we wound up going short 1295.60, which was where? Right about here. Okay. So that's not too bad. We've got a bit of risk that it could make new highs above here, but this isn't too bad. So let's look at ES. Now this one's kind of interesting. Okay, remember we had that ES thing. We have the double trouble pattern, the ES, and this is a thrust pattern here to the upside. And And sure enough, I was crazy enough to put some cells in here and took a small loss. And the price went up to the first warning line. And so we'll be taking a look at that to see if where it's likely to reverse next. Because for all I know, it could go up to the second warning line, which is right up here. Okay. Okay, so much for gold and that. Okay, let's take a look at historically. Here's in the Aussie, for example. So here you have a correction pattern in here. Now in here I used continuous contracts, which I'm not that crazy about in order to demonstrate this. But so here you had a correction pattern in here, and then you had your double trouble, and it just went down for a long time, as you can see. And so here you had your correction pattern, and yeah, it's three of them finally, and then it finally dropped like crazy. Okay, these are daily charts, so on these swings there's an ability to make a considerable profit if one wants to get out early. So let's look for double trouble signals in gold. There we go. So this was a correction pattern, and then we can see that price went down nicely. Here's another correction pattern, as you obviously see, and price went down nicely. Okay. And here we are in the gold again. So we had a double trouble pattern earlier this year, and price went down nicely, and then went down again, and away we went. Okay. And so here we have another double trouble pattern right in there, right now, right? Remember that? Let's take a look at British pound. Yeah, here we go. So we had a double trouble over here, and price went down nicely to new lows, and then up she went for a very long time. And I'm primarily focused on double troubles in a correction, because at the end of a thrust move you will have them also, but they're just a lot easier at the end of a correction. And so here you go. Okay, so that gives you some idea. In addition to that, one of the things that I've done is just a lot of computerized studies and on the different techniques and the different concepts. And we publish like 7 or 8 of the videos are specifically focused on that. So we show you the computerized results and the tests we did and how the indicators were made up, and they're specifically with the Andrews techniques. So that's the expanded course. And there's also, in addition to the 25, 30 videos that come with the expanded course, we also, of course, include the original works of Andrews. And we're not talking about the 60 poorly copied sheets of paper that somebody's put on the internet in a nice typed form. We're talking about probably nearly 1,000 pages of Andrew's stuff. But I think that this particular approach that I'm using will make life a lot more fruitful and a lot easier for someone who's starting out with Andrews, because it's as a result of years of research that I've done. So that's the long and short of it. That's the Babson. That's the little thing on the Babson reversal line, and on the double trouble signal. Okay. Now, do want you to know, I mean, this looks, unless you understand what my logic is in this stuff here, selecting how to draw the median line and the median line parallels is going to be pretty much hit and miss for you. Okay. So you really have to know what you're doing. Yeah, here's a double trouble signal, and here's another one. Okay. So notice, I'm drawing these median lines, and why did I pick this point and these 2 points here instead of this point here, this one here? And you just send me an email. You're in the course, and we don't put a video out on that. You just send me an email and I give you a real quick, concise, easy answer that you can apply immediately, because it's once you understand certain concepts, to know how to select the pivots for this is very simple, very straightforward, and very consistent. These weren't arbitrarily picked. Okay, they are consistent and they are programmable. So, and they have been programmed. So, just so you know. Anyway, you have any questions, you can contact me, 858-487-5151. If I answer the phone, Sunnyvale Morgue, you kill 'em, we chill 'em, or San Diego Morgue, you kill 'em, we chill 'em, you'll know it's me, because I get lots of weird phone calls from companies trying to sell me stuff. And that's pretty much it. So I thank you for your time, and take the course, take the expanded course.